are presumed guilty before you prove your innocence.
Yeah.
My lord, as a justice of the Court of Appeal, will you accept that? You will not, my lord. I don't expect you to answer. I'll answer it myself.
Let's not look at this thing as people in football. It's Ghana's society which was shown yesterday. Because all the elements involved come from various angles. Men, women, public servants, civil servants. I know somebody who is a whole choir master in the church.
In the video?
Yes, choir master in the church. He's a retired referee. A lot of our referees work in our security services. Yes. Almost half.
So what's the
our
discipline?
referees
So most of the people were bribed were either immigration or
officers, policemen,
police,
prison officers,
prison officers.
You know, and remember the issue.
But
You remember what happened?
They don't pay them well.
It's not a matter of.
Because actually, somebody took the woman who took 300. I was so sad because I respect her so much, and she took 300 cedis. Why?
Yes, he came for the money.
After encouraging you to take the money because he said he needed money.
I swear by my steering wheel. So this was last year. This year he came again in the presence of my subordinate here. And I told him, look, Aqua, what did I tell him? Because I will catch it.
Are you interested in 2014 World Cup Commission of Inquiry report? The white paper.
What?
The 2014 World Cup. That is the Commission of Inquiry white paper. The report. Mr. President, please, are you interested? Because we've heard nothing at all from your minister and yourself. More fire. Mr. President.
Yeah. No, that's
no. It's 3 in 1. So let me just put it. No, this is the question. Then also, do you have the courage to move for change within FA leadership in the face of gross mismanagement of the national team and the Ghana Premier League? Are you satisfied with the output of your sports minister after 1 year, Mr. President? More fire. Thank you.
Am I interested in the 2014 white paper? I think that on these matters, truth is usually the best answer. To be honest, I've forgotten about the 2014 white paper. But I have no doubt that my Minister of Sports is fully up to it and will advise in due course what should be the reaction of me and the government to it. But it has not been something that has been very much on my radar, the 2014 white paper on sports. As far as mismanagement within the Football Association is concerned, my understanding is that the Football Association, by FIFA rules, by all the rules, is supposed to be an independent organization, and that those who are involved in football administration in the country will deal with issues of mismanagement, if mismanagement there is. I don't believe it's in an area where the government should intervene to sort things out, if things need to be sorted out. Those in the industry, those in the sector, those in football are the ones who are meant to deal with football issues. And my understanding is that is a basic rule that FIFA is very, very, very insistent on, that there should be no executive interference in the administration of football anywhere. The output of the sports minister, so far so good as far as I'm concerned. If your if your view is different, well, for the time being, on his retention in office, is my view that matters.
Question 1. Kwesi Nyantechi said President Akufo-Addo's family demands 5% kickback on all government contracts because family property was sold to run the campaign. What response does the family have to that?
You see, Ben, the fact is, this country, it's like everything is possible. Anything at all can be done. You remember we were supposed to take deaf and dumb athletes to go and play, is it volleyball somewhere in the same Australia or somewhere? People who were supposed to be deaf and dumb. After the games, they were rather Shinjama, Cafe Mafe, Kaya Fwe. You see, when you do those things,
let there be silence. Places are silent tonight. Friends are scratching their heads tonight. Somebody should have given me a hat with a veil of beads. It would have been good for the show. A story of fractured leadership and corruption is where we take Sports Panorama from tonight. Benjamin Nketiah in the seat. Show is live on Facebook and of course live on Citi 97.3. A lot has happened this week. A lot. As journalists, we crave big stories, but we are overwhelmed, I can tell you. Every minute there's an update. You tell your friends you need to go and take a leak and there's a big story. What's going on here? Now, GFA President Kwesi Nyantakyi, just about a few hours ago, finally announced that he has resigned as president of the association. He, among 100 referees and officials, or over 100 if I should say, were caught on tape accepting cash, goats, puna, and all kinds of things that you can only think about in your homes. To influence matches, to alter the status of players, to influence playing time and let people into teams. Nyantakyi, on the other hand, was involved in influence peddling, setting up of a dummy company to fleece his own GFA of 25% of sponsorship money. In a nutshell, he aimed to use his power and people in politics to take over, according to he himself. Now, in the wake of all that has happened, tonight is the night. 0549986996, 0549986996. You can also join the conversation on Twitter. You can tweet at me at Kojo Nketiah. Use the hashtag Sports Panorama. The guys are in the studio. Daniel Cranting is here. Hey, Charlie, that boy and the Amachi Dede Punk looks extra luxurious today. The number 12 edition. Fentio Tahiru is here. Yeah. Nathan Kwao, the pianist, international relations analyst, the freestylist. Charlie, should I go on? Coach Christopher Nimley, your intro was enough. Godfred Akotobuafo will be giving clarity every now and then to the issues. Like I said, we are live on Facebook. Let's get the discussion underway. Guys, number 12 has brought us here. Hey! Woo! Nice. Nathan,
Wow.
it's been a whirlwind of activities.
Goodness.
Wow. Whirlwind of activities. What's it with big stories? Afewame. That's what it is.
You know, in this job of ours, like you're saying, you want the big stuff. We've done all kinds of things. Godfred and I were in Gabon fighting the elements, fighting all kinds of crazy things. You think that's huge? Nothing prepares you for this. Nothing prepares you to see the things that are hidden in the dark when it comes to Ghanaian football. Nothing prepares you, absolutely nothing prepares you to see the president of your own football association on tape, not hazy pictures, not CCTV footage, grainy image, no. Proper colored image. His voice impeccable, very audible. Hear him say all kinds of things. And if you think that's not enough, some people at the NSA and other places spice things up, and some members of the FA spice things up with some of the crazy cash takings you would ever see anywhere. 300 CDs, 1,000 CDs, 5,000 CDs. And the man of the moment, Mr. Large Political Suit, Mr. Large Big Pockets.
Charlie, let me just...
The one, the only.
Hold on. See, as serious as this is, I mean, some of the ingenuity of the situation must not be ignored. The Eddie Doku challenge. I beg you, if you have a jacket with big pockets, please send me a video of yourself doing the Eddie Doku challenge. Just let's let people know the essence of a big jacket.
You know, and,
Nathan, go on.
And that's that. I've seen hat tricks being scored in football games. Left foot, right foot header. I've never seen a hat trick of right pocket taking a few thousands, left pocket taking a few thousands, the back pocket taking a few thousands. And just to show how much of a boss he was, he folded the envelope and said, "Dude, take it back. I don't need this."
That's serious.
It's crazy.
One bit about the video that also shocked me. This was actually the BBC edition. Referee Joseph Wellington. Referee Joseph Wellington, basically because he's a FIFA instructor. I mean, look, the whole continent of West Africa depends on referee Joseph Wellington. I mean, if you are a young referee who wants to learn your way in the profession, Joseph Wellington is the go-to guy that the continent's, body brings in to do the workshop and such. Can you imagine the sort of seeds he's possibly sown among younger upcoming referees, sitting in his Ultima somewhere with his legs out, just waiting on agents to take his money? And blue, Kofi Menu blue. He's always been the loudest of the lot. Always been the loudest of the lot. But look, guys,
have you heard from Blue said the money they gave Team Kra, it wasn't up.
Let me tell you what I love. Let me tell you what I loved about that teaser. He said, "Ghana ha my nyama be brama manfo," meaning that he is a go-to guy for hatchet stuff. If you need some shady stuff done, come to me. I'll get it done for you. But for me, all this really starts from a breakdown of leadership, and I'm sorry to say that this starts with the presidency. We were here, at the 1-year anniversary of the MPP in power, when the government had a chance to address certain things that were wrong with the sports industry. They were asked questions. They were asked questions about the performance of the minister. The president, the sort of ignorance the president displayed on the matter really just blew me off. And his aloofness was very surprising at the time. And guys, what this means is, a few weeks after we had the Commonwealth Game fiasco, which involved a guy like Safo Mensah, it was not looked at. As we speak, that issue is still supposedly being investigated. Nothing was done about it. And then we have arrived at this wheel. I want to begin today's conversation. We've for those of you who have not seen the video, I'm sure you will make arrangements to see it. Yesterday it was on TV. There have been little clips out here and there. A lot of things have advanced since that particular moment. But I want to begin this discussion from a leadership point of view. So I'll play that clip from the president again, and then we will begin to discuss some of the fallouts from the number 12 episode.
Are you interested in 2014 World Cup Commission of Inquiry report?
Really?
The white paper.
What?
The 2014 World Cup. That is the Commission of Inquiry white paper. The report. Mr. President, please, are you interested? Because we've heard nothing at all from your minister and yourself. More fire. Mr. President.
Last.
Yeah.
No, that's
no. It's 3 in 1. No. So let me just put it. No, this is the question. Then also, do you have the courage to move for change within FA leadership in the face of gross mismanagement of the national team and the Ghana Premier League? Are you satisfied with the output of your sports minister after 1 year, Mr. President? More fire. Thank you.
Am I interested in the 2014 white paper? I think that on these matters, truth is usually the best answer. To be honest, I've forgotten about the 2014 white paper. But I have no doubt that my Minister of Sports is fully up to it and will advise in due course what should be the reaction of me and the government to it. But it has not been something that has been very much on my radar, the 2014 white paper on sports. As far as mismanagement within the Football Association is concerned, my understanding is that the Football Association, by FIFA rules, by all the rules, is supposed to be an independent organization, and that those who are involved in football administration in the country will deal with issues of mismanagement, if mismanagement there is. I don't believe it's in an area where the government should intervene to sort things out if things need to be sorted out. Those in the industry, those in the sector, those in football are the ones who are meant to deal with football issues. And my understanding is that that is a basic rule that FIFA is very, very, very insistent on, that there should be no executive interference in the administration of football anywhere. The output of the sports minister, so far so good as far as I'm concerned. If your if your view is different, well, for the time being, on his retention in office, is my view that matters.
Reactive leadership. President Akufo-Addo speaking there. Following the revelations from the number 12 expose, government decided that finally, it was time to blow up the operation at the GFA. So a statement was released, and I will read that statement to you. It says that government to take steps to dissolve the Ghana Football Association. And I read, government is shocked and outraged at the contents of the recently aired video documentary which captures the investigation conducted into football administration by the journalist Anas Arimea Anas, titled Number 12, When Misconduct and Greed Become the Norm. The documentary exposes the gross malfunctioning of the Ghana Football Association, characterized by widespread fraud, corruption, and bribery, and as a result of the pervasive nature of the rot within the GFA, government has decided as follows. 1. The conduct of all officials of the GFA, together with that of the suspended Acting Director General of the National Sports Authority, Robert Safo Mensah, shown in the documentary to be involved in questionable, potentially criminal acts, is forthwith referred to the police for further investigation and appropriate action. The police are to take all such relevant measures as are necessary to ensure that the contents of the documentary are rapidly and thoroughly investigated. 2. Having regard to the widespread nature of the apparent rot involving top GFA officials, top NSA officials, match commissioners, football administrators, and referees, government will shortly thereafter announce provisional measures to govern football activity in the country until a new body is duly formed. Government will communicate these decisions to the Confederation of African Football (CAF) and the Federation of International Football Associations (FIFA) and engage them on these developments to chart a way forward for Ghana football. Ghana will see that the necessary reforms are urgently undertaken to sanitize football administration in the country. Signed, Honorable Mustafa Ahmed. So Mustafa Ahmed, yes,
PhD. Add that.
Well, I mean that's not really what I'm interested in. As for that, it's for the birds. They can take it. Godfred, let me start off with you.
Oh,
yeah. So the statement came from the government. Steps to be taken to dissolve the FA, and then we heard that the GFA convened an executive meeting a little earlier today at a secret location to chart a way forward. Mr. Nyantechi apparently was the one chairing this particular meeting, and then a statement from FIFA came through saying that Mr. Nyantechi, from that particular moment the statement dropped, had been suspended for 90 days. I mean, he had the chance to resign. The statement from FIFA came through. You've heard the statement from government. What does it mean when an FA president is chairing a meeting and then a directive comes through from FIFA literally, I mean, just about the same time you are chairing that meeting? What does it mean for the ordinary football mind?
Shock. That's all that it means, because it's not something that you expect, that the supervising authority of the organization that you belong to will send you a letter that says you're suspended for X period of times. But I also think that it did not need to come to this. One thing that I think Mr. Nyantechi has not done really well, and he's done a lot in the past 13 years, is his ability to read the public. He's granted a lot of press conferences that have been tone deaf. He's written a lot of press statements that have been tone deaf.
Is it not the feeling of invincibility?
That's why I don't just think it's a feeling of invincibility.
I just care what the public thinks at all, because I mean the FA, like they say, is a limited liability company.
No. I just think that there were moments when he's just been a poor observer of public sentiment. Yes, you can mix that with his perhaps indifference with what the public thinks, but I also think that he's gauged it poorly, and it's affected him, because all he needed to do after this, with the outburst that came, was to resign. There was nothing else you could have done. Knowing how FIFA responds to these things, there were very little corners for him to cut with this particular scenario. So he did not need to be sitting there for them to hand him this letter that said, hey, you have 90 days to go. He could simply have signed a letter that said, I'm gone. Because by the time he resigned, he was already gone. It meant nothing. Basically, it meant nothing. Because FIFA had said you are banned from all football activity 3 hours before you resigned. So what are you resigning for? The resignation letter was purely symbolic. He had that opportunity to make it a proper statement yesterday or the day before, but he did not. He hung on. And I think it's that particular error that has let him down. His constant ability to miss opportunities to make differences. And it may not just be his fault, it may also be the fault of the people around him. Their inability to also read those situations and perhaps tell him that, look, we can do this differently. People might respond this way, that way. So it's unfortunate that it has come to this, but this is it, and we'll move forward from there. And for me, the lesson I take from this is profound, in that we should never get to a situation where one man becomes this powerful in football in this country again. As we speak, there's a power vacuum in Ghana football, by virtue of changes that were made to get Mr. Nyantechi to this point. Never in the history of our football were so many amendments made and so much effort put into elevating one man to a certain stature. And how the people who did this thought it will not come back to bite them baffles me. Many of them have fallen victim. The most recent being George Free. I'm sure if he could turn back the hands of time to 4 or 5 years ago, they would not have made these decisions. But be it as it may, we are here now. How do we move forward from this? I feel the next week is going to be very, very important. There are a couple of resignations left. Nyantechi's has come. The others who were named in the video should follow. Again, they did not need to wait. You see, that's always been the point. They've always waited for Nyantechi to lead for them to follow.
But isn't that how it's supposed to be in, if I'm allowed the word, the mob structure? You take orders from the boss. Yes, but it's been the bane of the FA, where you have 65-year-old men calling a 49-year-old man daddy. You know? Can you please give us names? I'm just saying. You understand? How is a 49-year-old man your daddy when you are 65? I mean, there is respect, but this was absolutely befuddling. It did not need to happen. That's money talking. Okay, I don't want to read interpretations into it, Ben, but I just felt it was shocking that we had reached that level of interaction. Ben Kofi was FA president. Nobody called him daddy. Nyahota Makulu was FA president. People disliked him. Those who admired him, people feared him, but nobody called him daddy. You know, so we had created a benevolent dictator, sort of, but the benevolence only stretched to 5 or 6 people. Okay, so for me, I'm more interested in the way forward. I think it's an opportunity for the Ghana Football Association to rewrite even its statutes, to create an avenue where one man is not responsible for so much,
where there can be proper checks and balances. Okay, because you look at the situation we have today, Ben. At the emergency committee, you have Kwesi Nyantechi. Let's name them. You have Kwesi Nyantechi, Mr. Eddie Doku, he of the large pocket, and I must tell you that pocket has a lot of cook and meat pie hiding in it. I will tell you the story later. A lot of cook and meat pie and chicken. I'll tell you that story. No, I'm talking about the emergency committee. It has Kwesi Nyantechi. It has Eddie Doku. It has lawyer Kwekweya. It had George Free, who had been removed and was not replaced. And then it had there's one more name left. Yes, Palmer? Yeah. Yes, Mr. Kwekweya Palmer on that committee. Now, Mr. Kwesi Nyantechi is gone from the emergency committee. The boss. Kwekweya is still there. Mr. Eddie Doku, we are waiting for him. He's in Iceland with the senior national team. He should come and he should resign as soon as he gets to the airport. So gone. Then we have Mr. Kwekweya and we have Kwekweya Palmer.
Liniadi, like you said, is there.
No, on the executive committee, you have Liniadi and the rest. Also 4 or 5 people left over there. But I'm saying on the emergency committee, all these people were appointed by Mr. Kwesi Nyantechi. So with his departure, what are they doing there? Because then you have absolutely no legitimacy from the people beneath you. That is the executive committee, from Congress as it is now. So any right thinking Football Association member could perhaps rise up and say, hey, the boss is gone, follow him and go. I'm not saying it's a situation that should happen, but it could happen.
No, but that should happen.
I'm just saying, because that is the structure we have created. You understand? Now, Kwesi Nyantechi, by virtue of being suspended at 2 o'clock or so, could not appoint a vice president. By virtue of the statutes as things stand now, he is the only person, as the law stands, he is the only person who could appoint a vice. So if you hear an announcement of a vice being named, we will ask who appointed that vice, because the executive committee did not agree on a vice, because they don't even have the powers to appoint one. You understand? So there are so many things that need to happen now, and
basically because they went to Congress and voted to vest all those powers
in Mr. Nyantechi. You understand? And it has led to so many things. That is why he could write a 13-page MOU in 13 minutes, 1 minute for every page, with his pen.
I like how he propped his glasses on his head when he had to think about key points of the MOU.
Conversation that needed to be had by your marketing and sponsorship committee. So what exactly do those people do? Who was going to check the documentation?
Mr. Frank Nelson needs to tell us a few things.
You understand? There are so many questions that need to be answered by the FA in its current form. And we thank Anas for showing us these things. Okay, we will deal with the referees and whatnot. But Ben, I am saddened. You know, we've been tweeting and whatnot, trying to make light of it. But these are things that we've given our lives for. Look, I've one of the first times, the only time I would say I've been endangered in my life was at a football game where I was saved by Nana Ajiman, who had to pull a pistol to save me. You understand? So for us, sometimes these are life and death scenarios. There's a time when I've been at the stadium where a mob has walked to me and said, as a journalist, leave this stadium now or you won't go home. I'm just there to work. The mob just wanted a result. But in order to get that result, they tell me, leave. We don't want you to be here when whatever is going to happen, happens. You understand? These are games we've given our lives for. So when I am watching, and I was watching with Nathan, and I saw certain people, and I was like, I saw Liniadi, somebody I know personally and respect so much, and Nathan,
300 CDs,
and I just said, oh, Linia. I was sitting by Nathan, and I said, oh, Linia, and she didn't even have a pocket; she stuck it somewhere. You know, and it was. I felt personally embarrassed. Just top it that way. You understand? These are people we respect so much. Okay, so the level that we are at, I don't think even these statements that have come out show enough of the depth of where we are. And that is why I say Mr. Kwesi, he keeps missing the public temperature. This statement that was released, Ben, nowhere does it talk about football.
Yep.
Nowhere. does Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi talk about football? And I'm a bit worried by the club's response by this. You know why? If you listen to that thing, Mr. Nyantakyi sat down carefully to plan how he was going to rip off clubs.
Yep.
Potentially.
Yep.
If you look at the video, $15 million. He was walking away with a total of 4.5 million.
Yep.
Over 3 years, clubs were going to share that money, and each club, if I do the mathematics, each club was going to get $700,000. Mr. Nyantakyi would have walked away with $4.5 million. And football clubs today have not spoken, thinking that it's cool.
It's loyalty.
It's a stupidity.
It's toxic loyalty.
It's a stupidity.
That's the toxic loyalty I've been talking about.
It's a stupidity. And I am shocked that clubs, you see, for me, that was the most serious part of this. Forget the political part of it. Let's let the politicians deal with that. But for the person whose job it is to seek the well-being of football clubs, to find an opportunity, albeit a set-up one, but at least it is at that moment that we should have seen Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi having a discussion with Sheikh Altani about, okay, we've been trying to put up pitches. We are unable to put up pitches. We are trying to develop our women's game. The women's team is suffering. Can you, some of the money, if you give it to me, I will put it here. He was rather having conversations about how they will wire the money somewhere and he will take 5% somewhere. And football clubs and football people in this country have not noticed that one. Look, there is nowhere where I would meet Mr. Nyantakyi today and not tell him that Mr. Nyantakyi, you're a wicked man. Based on that, simply for football purposes, that you went there, somebody says, I will allegedly give you $15 million, and you feel that you should take 4.5, and me, the person who sweats to pay all kinds of people, me, I should take $700,000. That is sheer wickedness. Okay, so for me, I find it strange that he has not addressed that part, unless maybe he has explained it to the executive committee to their satisfaction. But maybe Monday at that executive and that emergency Galka meeting, they should raise that issue.
No, but some of you were there.
Oh yes, because it throws so many things into question. All these contracts that have been signed in this country that we have not seen, people have always raised questions. One of the first big cases I worked on as a sports journalist was in 2009. I was at a different station then. The Mid-Sea.
The Glow contract.
We dragged this thing from A to Z, dragged Randy Abbey back then into a studio. He defended this thing with his life. That was when the famous Nana Nimo emerged.
Remember.
We did that interview with him and Nana Nimo emerged. 2009, 2010. Mid-Sea. We did not see it. West Head, later Afrisat. Then
now Xylophone Cash.
With all these ones. So if I watch that one, what keeps me from drawing inferences that perhaps you've been doing? This is a habit.
Of course, definitely.
I cannot confirm it, but I can draw the inferences logically. If you are willing, if you see 15 million,
it is a man's track record.
4.5 and coming to give me 700,000. How long have you been cheating me?
The Star Times deal.
Nketia, this is sad, man.
Well, I will play to you Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi's plot to take over, and then I'll take the standout issues or the standout points from the guys from number 12, and then we'll discuss the power vacuum in the Ghana Football Association and upcoming matters. So let's just listen to Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi on how exactly he intended to take over Ghana.
You can start with something small, your own discussion. Then, when you get the contracts, big contracts, we can go back and give them more money. Then we take over the whole country.
Charlie Shatawale is controlling everywhere, man. Coach,
I'm taking over.
Number 12. Number 12, Ekpelekeshi. In the words of a Gauman.
No more Ekpelekeshi. Eye jaw. Eba landi. Eye jaw. Eye gono. Eye jaw. Eba beshi. No more. What? Look. What? Goodness me.
Hold your fire for a second. Let me read a few messages before you launch into that tirade. Let's see what's been coming through from the people. 0549 986 996. The Twitter feed is also buzzing. Tweet at me at Kojon Ketia. Use the hashtag Sports Panorama. Let's get to this one here. It says For me, I'm not interested in the GFA's corruption saga. How far with Liverpool and Nabil Fekir? Hey, Charlie. Look, we have Don't Call Me for you. Even if it's 10 minutes, we'll do it for you. Don't worry. This one here from Eugene from Kaswa says, at long last, the battle has ended. Ghana football is free forever. Why did it take a long time for the corrupt man to resign? We are waiting for FIFA's decision. It's time we get an incorruptible football president to run the affairs of the GFA. Stubborn football people, see your end. Sakatu from Ofankor Barrier says that done with my Indomie and Coke. TV sound muted, light off, fan on, radio on. City is the village, the town, and the country. Welcome to Sports Panorama. I like that. This one here from Joe from Santa Maria says that at long last the battle has ended. Finally, I can sleep without any nightmares. The best news I have heard in 3 months. Nyantechi and his cohorts are gone. Well, his cohorts are not quite gone yet, so hold your horses. This one here coming in from Kwesi Akwa from Sakomono says, guys, did you hear the man in the video who said he was responsible for the call-up of Jan and the brother? As for Ibrahim Sanidara, well, we'll be getting to all that. Vuvuzela from Adenta says that he says you are all nerves for tonight's show. I don't know what that means, but we are all nerves here. It's nice. Derek Blaze from Ashaiman says that Banyantichi too is sharp. Can't he accept mobile money payments, polythene bag payments? Pa. This one here from Inyan Arthur from Awo. She says that I thought I heard Kwesi Nyantechi say that he will stay to fight. Now, why is he going? He now knows that some iron can cut some iron. This one talks about this pocket power there, unless Patapao, and that's from Ashaiman. You mean? I think you're talking about Edidoku and the famous jacket. Seram Suarez says that so Nyantechi is admitting if the investors weren't scammers, he would have scammed them. Good God. Greed, arrogance, absolute power corrupts absolutely. The fall of Kwesi Nyantechi, he never saw it coming. Nana from Michelle Camp says that I had always wondered why jackets had so many pockets until Eddie Doku showed me why. So that's some food for thought for you here, Charlie. Some lessons to learn. Life hack for you, Charlie. Just take it and use it. This one here from Enrique the Brain from Taifa says that I never knew Mr. Nyantechi was suffering from mouth diarrhea. Hey, the man wants to take over Ghana. I'm happy things have gone against Nyantechi like this, but nearly wept after reading the last paragraph of his resignation. Too bad. I'll be reading that statement to you. A very interesting statement, but send in your messages. Keep them coming. 0549986996. Coach, number 12, your fallout.
My fallout. I think it is proper we are where we are. The writings were all on the walls, but like Doc did say, I would not say he did not see. I think it was a matter of he being too stubborn. And at times when you are that stubborn, it hardens your heart. You go to the Bible, you could trace when Pharaoh was that stubborn and the message kept coming. Let my people go. Let my people go. He wouldn't allow them to go. And there were signs upon signs upon signs upon signs on the wall. Still, Pharaoh, very, very stubborn. So you could liken the Nyantechi situation to that of Pharaoh in the Bible. And for sure, when your time is up, your time is up. For me, I was very, very happy for one thing. That in the video, finally, I saw somebody who said, no, I have an integrity to protect.
You will only get in on merit.
And to me, that was my man of the video. Yeah. He made my day in the video. And JF, sorry.
JF Mensah.
And JF Mensah.
Diana Boating.
And Diana Boating. I mean, these three people made my, to me, are those I really do want to talk about. But for those disgraced, embarrassed, shameless
use the word
people who actually look, Google me right now if you can. Google me. You see good things about me. Google me. Just go Google.
There are over 500 radio stations in Ghana. You don't have a problem with hype.
Google me. Now, if somebody who is supposed to be a leader, somebody who's supposed to lead by example, could tell Sheikh Atani Just Google me. You see who I am. I'm all over the place. Now, Google him. And we'll see what has come of him. Look, it is strictly unacceptable. And for me, it's about football in this country. I have said that for somebody who did not have the key to bring back my course football, there was nothing good that I could say or defend about him. Going forward, we want somebody who will resurrect our game. And for our game to be resurrected, we need somebody who will go down to the grassroots and actually open the way for football to come back to where it was. But like I said, I'm not going to waste time on this. Look at Edu Doku. Look at somebody. Oh, Charlie, I like this. If only people could see what we are looking at. Somebody is more or less mimicking Edu Doku. He's got his jacket on, putting some good hard cash, trying to mimic what he saw of Edu Doku in the video. Look. God bless Ghana.
It's legendary.
Look, God bless Ghana. That is what I want to say about this, because look, we want our football to be played. We want to see things done in the right way.
Talking about wanting our football, I have
God
professional fire for a few people. I'll hold that for a few seconds. Fent, number 12, Charlie. You were tired when you got into the auditorium to watch, but
I spoke to him. He said you had your turn around 8 or the last version 10. I said, wow.
And then started at 11. I went home. I got home at 2 o'clock.
That's me.
Because of Nyontachi and his people. They owe me sleep. You know, Godfred has spoken
at length about this.
At length. Yeah. And very well at that. About the whole Nyontachi saga. So I like to dig deep into the referees. And I want to begin by saying that I think that every sports presenter who has ever worked, whether in statistics, previews, reviews, analysis of the Ghana Premier League, I think we all need to sue all these referees.
Especially the coaches. Because coaches
especially the coaches, the players. I think that all of the referees caught in this act should be sued for damages for what they did and what they have done to Ghana football and to all of these people, because an apology and a resignation from them is not even enough. And incredibly, none of them has said anything at all.
Eddie Doku has sent messages from Iceland.
No, I'm talking about the referees. Have you heard any of the referees even apologize?
Well,
Deborah hasn't spoken?
No.
The president?
Nope. You call him 1,000 times. He hasn't answered. He's the head of the.
I've tried calling him 6 times. I just wanted to hear his version. Whether
Referees Association of Ghana, they haven't said anything. And you see, I think that the problem is the comfortability and the ease with which they took the money.
Oh, Charlie.
It wasn't like they were taking a bribe at all. Charles Dawuna.
Business as usual.
Did you see Dawuna?
Yep.
He was counting the money.
Charlie.
To make sure he hadn't been ripped off. The bribe, you were taking a bribe to make sure you haven't been ripped off.
Unbelievable. He's leader of delegation. You know what that means?
Shaking the money like that.
Leader of delegation. Incredibly. And you see, some of the most shocking things that I saw from referee Dali Gaba.
Charlie, you want to really go to that?
No, I am going into referee Dali Gaba from Bolgatanga. A match involving Hasufuk and Wafa. You take money to fix the game
at Sugakofe,
and then you tell Hasufuk players, I'm wrap penalty box in. They should stop passing the ball around.
They will not even get the ball to pass.
Make my job easier.
Yes, make my job easier. And that's not even the most shocking thing. The most shocking thing is the way he sold his integrity. By declaring to the fixers of the game that I'm a House of supporter, so don't worry.
A
referee declaring where your loyalty lies right before a game and taking money on top of it. No shame. Some people deserve jail time.
Of course.
For what they have done. Because trust me, in this country, we have a history of what happened in May 9, 2001 was as a result of a referee mistake. So everything that happened in games involving Hearts of Oak and Kotoko, Dali Gagba, Samuel Suka, you took money to decide games the way you wanted. And trust me, we could have lost another 127 lives.
Even more.
Or even more. Especially in that Samuel Suka incident.
Yes.
I was there. Daniel was there.
That thing went on for 2 weeks.
Yes. And at the stadium,
And he was actually cleared.
Yes,
Yeah, he was
actually cleared of
Yes.
all charges.
From a GFA video. That's another matter.
There was a GFA video that actually...
That nobody ever saw.
Oh, we did.
We
And
did.
it was so doctored. It looked so bad. You knew that it was all wrong. It was all doctored. And I'm saying that if people don't get jail time for this, we can never move forward, especially the referees. Godfred has spoken at length about the GFA president and what's happened there. I'm talking about the referees. Every single one of them deserves jail time for compromising the security of the entire nation just for a few hundreds of Ghana cedis.
400.
400. 700 Ghana cedis. Is it? It's 800 Ghana cedis worth the lives of 200 people. Is it even worth the life of one person?
If you give that money to Kranti, he spends it overnight.
Because I'm telling you, and let's, yes,
He spends it overnight.
and
Please.
and you see, Ben, this is one that breaks my heart. Just a couple of weeks ago, we sat here on Sports Panorama and condemned the GFA, condemned Elmina Sharks for beating up a referee, for stoning a referee, Nuhu Liman.
Let me hear bribe.
And then Nuhu Liman is captured in the tape, taking a bribe to fix Brekum Chelsea versus Accra Hearts of Oak. Unbelievable.
I have said that.
So now, with the benefit of hindsight,
he deserved to be beaten.
Thank you very much. That's the point. And you see, here's why you know that it's true. Because in that game between Hearts of Oak and Brekum Chelsea, because one of the premises of Anas for doing the investigation is that both sides pay the referee, but the side that pays more
Wins it.
gets the decision. And in the game between Brekum Chelsea and Hearts of Oak, they paid him money to fix the game in favor of Hearts of Oak. But the way he refereed the game went in favor of Brekum Chelsea. So the conclusion is that somebody else, and we're not saying it's Chelsea here, but maybe another party paid more. And you see, that game in particular got referee Nuhu Liman banned for 8 matches.
Yes.
Because
I
the
think that was
goals
the
are...
game he awarded a very dubious...
No, it wasn't a penalty. Steven Safo scored a goal that Inusa Musa said he swore by his grandfather that the ball was offside, that Steven Safo was offside before he scored the goal. And then Patrick Razak was pulled down in the penalty box. It was as clear as day.
And he did in a
He waved play on. Hearts of Oak reported him to the referee's review panel. He was banned for 8 matches. This same referee was beaten just this season.
He's been beaten twice.
Yes. I'm talking about the first one at Brekum Chelsea. And you see, he was beaten in that game between Chelsea and Dreams FC because the game ended in a draw. But Chelsea were not happy with the result. And you know what Oduro Safo said after the referee was beaten? He said it's not the Brekum Chelsea fans who beat him. It is a woman who beat him. And you know why? Because apparently, according to Oduro Safo, he went to exchange sex for fixing the game. The woman is a Brekum Chelsea fan. He went to sleep with the woman and then promised to officiate the game in favor of Chelsea. And then that didn't happen. So after the game, the woman met him. And beat him up. That's what Oduro Safo says. And we feel sympathy for these people. We shouldn't. They deserve jail time, in my opinion. Because I think that what they have done, they should feel shame that they've done this to our football. And you see, what Anas has done is only a sample size. For everybody who wasn't investigated in this, when you go to church, thank God, every day. If you wake up in the morning, look in the mirror.
Ask yourself,
the things you've done
Would you have
that were
passed
not
the test?
That yes, would you have passed the
added
test?
to the years and the
Would you have passed the ANAS test? Look in the mirror.
I think that's the bigger picture, really, because
Yeah.
look, this might look like a football discussion, but
It's not.
Like Honorable Nilante van der Poel said, this was a depiction of Ghanaian society. There were women in there taking money. There were referees in there taking money. There were old people there. There were young people in there. It really just cut across the entire social divide.
And you see, Ben, I saw somebody that made me sad.
Tell me.
Prince Galka. Prince is a friend.
no more here.
He does all these accreditations for the GA tournament. I dealt with him recently with the GA tournament. Daniel is here. He went to look for him to get his accreditation. That accreditation cry is still with him. And you take money to help Great Olympics stay in the league. Is that even possible? Hold on. Galka is a welfare body. I know. This is what shocks me. You take money to help Great Olympics escape relegation. You work at Galka.
How would he? How
would
What
you?
is the link?
What is the link? If it's not greed, how could you? You're not on referees appointment committee. You don't work at
Well,
the
the
GFA.
FA president is trying to fleece his organization. So people from Galka trying to take Galka money or trying to betray it. It's really,
You see,
it's in order.
and I mentioned the fact that people who are investigators should count themselves lucky. And I know a dozen people, or more than a dozen people,
Who could have fallen prey to
Yes,
this?
who escaped, who escaped because they were somewhere at a particular time where they couldn't be captured. For example, I'll give you a good example. Kujo Fiano is a very lucky man. The only reason that he's not in the video to be tested, and as to whether he would have passed the test or not, that's a different matter. It's because he doesn't work here. The Galka office is here, but Kujo Fiano was in Obuasi the whole time.
Yeah, he virtually ran the office from there.
From there. So sometimes, you see, we can all go on and chastise the people that were caught in the video. But I think the bigger picture is those who were not in the video, who have all done this one way or the other. Because trust me, everybody who is not in that video should look in the mirror.
People are doing the
Wake up
cross right now.
Yes,
if I have my
do
way-
a self-examination. Wake up tomorrow and know that you need to change. And I
If I
think
have
that
my
change, that's why the dissolution of the FA, we really don't care.
If I have
Because
my
it
way-
doesn't matter that only those handful of people are caught. The people that are caught,
It's not a proper reflection of the situation.
It's not. It's completely
why-
not. Because even if those people go, the FA will still remain what it is.
That's why
we'll be getting to that discussion.
A year and co. I mean, we are to mention these names on countless occasions.
We'll be getting to that discussion. Daniel, quick thoughts on your impressions after watching number 12, and then we'll move the discussion forward.
As much as this expose or this documentary shone a light on the deep cracks within the football fraternity, and obviously helped us fish out these corrupt individuals, I was crushed. Emotionally, I was crushed. From the first minute to the last, I was crushed.
How many tears did you shed?
A lot. And in fact, 70% of the reason why I was crushed was because majority of those games involved Hearts of Oak. And for me, it was just a reality. Everything I watched last season was one big fat lie. And just to think that coaches will have sleepless nights, wake up in the middle of the night with a new tactical idea, fix it, wake up, they have a different idea, tell their players, they practice over and
Watching
over and
YouTube
over again.
videos and trying to upgrade your skills and whatnot.
You go onto the pitch, things are not working out, you are trying to change this back to a back three, a back four, and then the whole game is premised on a referee receiving money. So see, no matter what you are doing, you are going to lose. It just renders the job of coaches, the job of players, useless. Because no matter how much you train, no matter how much you think, no matter how good or bad you are, your job is just
training. Papa,
it's nothing.
Never an end product.
And it's painful that these people who we saw taking the monies, Liniadi, Kwesi Nyantechi, you go for press conferences and they want to cry about the problems in Ghana football.
we are not getting sponsorship. These things are not going well.
As for linear
development, women's football, you don't give us attention. Madam, you are taking 300 Ghana cedis to fix Premier League games. 300 Ghana cedis. Shame on you. Shame on you.
All of us here, if we say we want to have, a good meal, well, 300 Ghana cedis won't take care of all of us if we say we want to have a good meal.
Well, come to think about me.
And the annoying part is that when you call her to, what is the first line she normally throws at you? God has risen. Jesus has risen. Jesus is king.
You see, and for me,
but
frankly,
notice that a common theme among
the referees, God bless you. God bless you.
You are committing such an atrocious crime. And you are saying God bless you. Wherever this money is coming from, may God double it. May you get grace.
See, when I saw her put that money in her pocket, I wanted to take my
what pocket?
What pocket? Let's say pocket. We don't know where she put money.
We'll leave it. Watch the video in that one in the pocket.
I wanted to take something and throw it at her. I was that disgusted. 300 Ghana cedis. Even the referees was taking 2,000. You are taking 300 Ghana cedis.
An executive committee member. You are the beacon of women's football in this country, and it comes at a time where women's football is actually beginning to grow, and a positive light was being shown on them. So you know what the Black Princesses, the Black Maidens, they have a World Cup. They are doing. The Black Queens have a tournament to host. We've got a female coach for the first time who's won practically her first trophy ever. This year was like the year for women's football, and you the head of it. You are there, you are fooling yourself like that. That was absolute nonsense. I was so pissed when I saw that video. And see, the painful thing is that they have made the mistakes, but the true people who suffer are the players, the coaches, young players who have dreams of playing football, women who don't have jobs. All they do is rely on football. Even the bonuses, you don't even pay them. You don't even pay them their bonuses. The Black Queens were outside the ministry crying for $3,000. An accumulation of their All Africa Games, World Cups, AFCONs. You don't even pay them. And you are sitting here chopping these small monies, accumulating and putting in your pocket. You are happy. Shame on you. You are bush. My goodness.
I'm not done. And I say this because
more.
If you remember the 2006 match fixing scandal in Italy, who suffered the most? The players. Sponsorships were taken away. Players began to leave the league. Now the Italian league became nobody wanted to go to the Italian league. Then it affected their national team. In 2010, they went out in the group stages of the World Cup. They went to that tournament as defending champions. 2014, group stages. 2018, they are still suffering. They didn't even qualify for the World Cup. And the painful thing is that players in Ghana who have reached their prime, who actually feel that this is the time where they are about to look at the Ghana Premier League this season. I won't lie to you, but it was beginning to gather a lot of interest. It was getting more interesting. And all of a sudden now it has to be halted. If we are going to start all over again, look at players like Patrick Razak. Look at players like Felix Annan.
Look at the Midiama.
Look at the Midiama. Look at the Wasfa boys. Look at Kwesi Donsu. These guys will have to suffer. Their careers will have to suffer because we are going to start again because of some people's greed. Those people should go to jail. You remember Game of Thrones when they paraded Cersei naked in public and everybody hooted at them? That's exactly what they should do to them. Shame on you.
That's too much fire. Let me read Kwesi Nyantakyi's statement because, look, we need to read that statement. The man says he has resigned. So let me get to Mr. Nyantakyi's resignation statement. It says that after a meeting of the executive committee this afternoon, I decided to resign as president of the Ghana Football Association. It stemmed out of the controversies generated by the investigative report of Tiger IPI. In the said report, I committed a series of errors of indiscretion. I gravely associated the highest office of the land, the presidency, with private discussions I had with scammers who deceived me into thinking they were genuine persons interested in investing in our country. I hereby apologize unreservedly to the father of the nation, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency the Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers of State for indiscretion in associating them with the private conversations in the video. I wish to clarify that at no time prior to the Prior to or subsequent to any deliberations on the video, did I consult, contact, or inform any government official about discussions in the video? I take sole and personal responsibility for the proceedings in the video. All the discussions in the video were done as private discussions. I never knew or anticipated that they would be secretly recorded. I am sorry the discussions have caused a huge embarrassment to the presidency, honorable ministers, and senior government officials. I wish to apologize to my family, my work colleagues, friends, associates, and the people of Ghana for the disappointment my indiscretion has caused them. This is by no means an admission of wrongdoing for the issues in the video. In the coming days, I will address the media on issues raised in that video. Thank you, signed Kwesi Nyantechi, the 8th of June 2018. Keep that date in your diary. The 8th of June 2018 is the day that GFA President Kwesi Nyantechi resigned from his position after how many years? 12 years, 13 years? 13 years. Well, 13 years in power, Godfrey.
There's a statement coming through that we are trying to confirm. Once we confirm, we will read it for our listeners. But it will change a lot if it comes through. So listeners, stay tuned to Sports Panorama. Don't go anywhere.
You see, Ben, before we go into the Nyantechi, I think that it will be unfair if we skip referee Fulera.
Special tactics in
Special
tactics in
It will be unfair.
Hold your horses on referee Fulera. Let's take a break. Show sponsored by Betway and also by Premium Bank. Sports Panorama returns shortly.
Hi, I am Umaru Sanda. I'm the host of Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Every weeknight, do join me for the big stories of the day as we do the analysis, the interviews, the probing questions that will help you find closure to the top stories that bother your mind. The show is, of course, live on Facebook here on Citi FM's handle. Hi, I am Umaru Sanda. I'm the host of Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Every weeknight, do join me for the big stories of the day as we do the analysis, the interviews, the probing questions that will help you find closure to the top stories.
Okay. Let me get to Facebook. Remember, the show is live on Facebook, Sports Panorama. Just get to Citi FM's Facebook page, click on the live icon out there, and you can actually view exactly what's going down in the studio. It's just about 11 minutes after 8 o'clock or so here. We are still dissecting the issues and the fallout from the number 12 investigation piece into corruption in football that aired a couple of days ago. Was put together by Anas Arimeyao Anas and his Tiger IPI team. I'll read a few messages from my Facebook people because they have been observing the proceedings. Okay, this one here from Zach Ibn Imran says that Ghana football is free forever now. Celebrating jubilation because we have gained our independence from that greedy former FA president. Okay, this one here from Della King says that we are now free from vampires. Evans Dista says that watching you live inside Soweto, Nyantechi must be put in jail, you say. This one here also coming through from Mr. Black says scandalous. Osei Esibe says wow, what a sports crew. This one here is from Parkwesi Mohasem says that good evening, guys. Most of the club reps and the executive committee members are all aware of the formation Mr. Nyantechi was talking about. I mean the 5-4-3-2-1. They don't have the teeth to bite. Let us be content with the dissolution we have. Greetings to everyone. Well, we don't have that dissolution yet. Government did say that steps are being taken to dissolve. They didn't say that the GFA has been dissolved. So let's just get that clear. This one here coming in from Peter Owusu says Kwesi Nyantechi talks like Obinim. Hey Charlie, I don't know about that, but more messages coming through. Charles Dankwa says, guys, any update on Chelsea, please? I need an update. What exactly? You need an update on the stadium or where the manager sleeps or what exactly? We'll be getting you all those updates when they come to. But like I did say, look, we'll do a little Donkomi. My bell is here. My bell will be mad at me if no Donkomi happens. We don't deserve to treat this topic on just Nyantechi alone. Donkomi deserves to have its share of the cake. So I'll do that for you. And then let's move the discussion forward a little as well. This one here from Ernest Amata says, loving Panorama this evening. And then there's also one other message here says, so I hear 3,000 cedis is now called Edidoku. I have told a friend to bring me my Edidoku. So that's what's going on there. Yeah, those are some messages from Facebook. Keep them coming. Yes. Yeah, so some breaking news coming in with regards to the Ghana Football Association. Godfred, or Nathan, one of you have the statement there, so please.
We are all checking our phones. We are coming.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. So who has the honor? Just read the statement for us.
So this one is a news release from the Ghana Police Service. It says GFA premise is a crime scene. Stay away.
Underlined.
You
mean it has an exclamation mark? Wait, you mean it has been cordoned off with yellow tape?
They said GFA premises is a crime scene. Comma. Stay away. Exclamation mark. Bolding, underline.
CSI. This is CSI Accra.
You listen to this one. One, police have started investigations into activities of the Ghana Football Association and its officers following the number 12 expose by Tiger IPI. 2, as a result, the premises and offices of the GFA have been sealed off and remain inaccessible to staff of the GFA and the public until further notice. Point 3, police will provide 24-hour security at the premises and entreat the public to cooperate with investigators. Point 4, the police administration is assuring the public of due processes and encouraging persons with verifiable information to volunteer it to police through the Financial Forensics Unit of the Criminal Investigations Department CID headquarters at Accra. Signed, Sheila Kese Abeye Bachman, Deputy Superintendent of Police, Director, Public Affairs.
Wow. Boom. Godfred.
Yeah, well, the government spoke about, in the government statement that was released from the presidency, they spoke about steps that will be taken. I think this was step 1, where they said the police would be asked to investigate.
Take any steps necessary to investigate.
But this is still shocking for me that, you know, GFA premises is a crime scene. Stay away, and to seal off the building.
That's some heavy stuff.
Yeah, and this came late, so there's nobody at the GFA. Like, the staff have closed. They would have left everything behind. You don't even know they're going to close it down. You are home and they tell you.
I mean, surprise.
You know, but
like Godfred said,
the process is ongoing.
You could read the public, or anyone could read it.
I think that when
would have anticipated this.
When the government spoke about dissolution, you know, I think the government knew exactly what it was doing.
Yeah.
And they are going to make sure these processes move really fast because there's just so much on the plate. And I also think that the government does not want to block progress of football. I think that they want to move really quickly. So I think that perhaps within a month, we should see this whole process at an end with new structures in place and everything, new names and whatnot. But I think let's not be surprised if the next step is the Registrar General's office. Let's not be surprised.
No, that has actually started.
If the next step is the Registrar General's office,
because that's due process. That has to be done.
Let's just stay on that matter for a minute because you raised an interesting point. Now, in all this, people have kept drawing inferences between the Nigeria dissolution of the FA and the Ghana dissolution of the FA. Can you just give us some clarity to the differences between the two situations.
There wasn't a dissolution of the Nigerian FA, basically. What happened was that Mai Gari,
who was then the president,
who was the Nigerian FA president, had been accused of embezzling World Cup funds.
Yeah.
Money that was sent to the players via aircraft. The plane arrived, the money didn't arrive.
What?
In Brazil. So by the time he returned to Brazil, to Nigeria, the police were waiting for him at Mutala. They put him in a car. Now FIFA intervened and said the government was interfering. But the Nigerian government felt that the gravity of the situation meant they had to change everybody. So they organized an election and elected their own set of officials. That is what happened from that side. Now FIFA came in back and forth, but eventually they had the compromise situation where we now have Amaju Pinnick in place. So it wasn't really the solution of this kind where they said, okay.
But it had to go through the court system somewhat.
Yes, there was a court process in there because what the Nigerian government arrested my Gary for was a crime. Kwesi Nyantakyi is being investigated.
It was a criminal
yes,
situation.
When he got to the airport, they were waiting for him. Nyantakyi at least is being offered the opportunity to go through a certain process.
Now, what I'm also curious to know is if government will press charges against Kwesi Nyantakyi for some of the things that he said.
It will take time.
Indeed, about the president's family, about some of the ministers. He has admitted in the statement that he sent out that everything he said was premised on his own fabrications, that he didn't have any conversations with anybody. And I'll read that particular cutout from his this thing for you. Let me just get to that particular bit here. Yes, this is it right here. Kwesi Nyantakyi says, I wish to clarify that at no time prior to or subsequent to any deliberations in the video did I consult, contact or inform any government official about discussions in the video. I take sole and personal responsibility for the proceedings in the video. Does this sort of exonerate everybody else he mentioned in there from the government side, though?
Not really. I just feel he's doing his part to minimize,
mitigate
the damage.
Yeah, but it does not.
Interesting stuff there. But we'll take a few questions. We think that in the wake of all this, the presidency does have some questions to answer. So we're out here at Citi FM. We put together a few questions which we think that in the wake of number 12, Nana Akufo-Addo and his people in power ought to come clear on.
Question 1. Kwesi Nyantakyi said President Akufo-Addo's family demands 5% kickback on all government contracts because family property was sold to run the campaign. What response does the family have to that? Question 2. Kwesi Nyantakyi said President Akufo-Addo's Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways, Anthony Kabo, suggests that before investors meet the president, an amount of $5 million has to be paid. Is this true? Was the Deputy Minister speaking based on precedents? Question 3. Kwesi Nyantakyi said President Akufo-Addo handed the Ministry of Transport to Asin Central NP Kennedy Ejapon, who appointed his puppet Kwesi Amwakon-Atta to superintend over it. Is it true that the president was not the person who nominated Kwesi Amwakon-Atta for parliamentary approval, contrary to the official communication to the Speaker? Question 4. Kwesi Nyantakyi said there was a deliberate attempt by government not to pay contractors believed to be sympathetic to the NDC. Is there any such thing? Question 5. Kwesi Nyantakyi explained how government plans to construct a highway from Ghana to Burkina Faso through Sandema, which would have about 50 bridges. He adds further that contractors would be added for all the projects. Is this a fact? And if this is so, did the president ask Kwesi Nyantakyi to source for investors for the government? Question 6. Kwesi Nyantakyi referred variously to Deputy Roads Minister Anthony Kabo and Deputy Chief of Staff Francis Asenso-Boakye as informants in the government. Mr. President, have you questioned these appointees of yours since the publication?
We'll leave that to the presidency. I'll ask a few questions here. Friends, Godfrey did mention that there's a vacuum of leadership in the FA as we speak. Yeah. Now, what usually happens is that I believe that an extraordinary congress of some sorts will be congregated. Mm-hmm. And then decisions on charting a path forward will be taken. Mm-hmm. Now, a few quick questions. He did mention, and we know from the video, that a lot of people who have targets on their back are still on the executive committee and the emergency committee. Now, these are the most powerful bodies of the association. Now, in your opinion, who takes over from Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi in the light that they even do have the legal mandate to take over? Who are the eligible people that we can say, look, it's emergency time, it's crunch time, hold down the fort for us for a bit, and let's see what happens? Who can we pinpoint at this point? And again, I'll throw another question to Daniel Cranting. Mr. Van der Poel made an interesting point about removing Nyantakyi not being the answer to the problem. A total cleansing or a holistic cleansing needed. Ponder that for a second. Fent, let me take your thoughts.
It's a very tricky situation that we find ourselves. And I think that's where I was and have been a little disappointed that even Galka is taking them this long for them to have their own emergency meeting. But you see, if you read the GFA statutes, for example, there are certain provisions that are made for calling an emergency congress. And there is no better situation that would warrant the calling of an emergency congress than what we have now. Because as Godfrey said, there's a huge leadership vacuum that needs to be filled. And this thing aired on Wednesday. There was yesterday, Thursday. That's the whole of today. Nyantakyi is gone. There is tomorrow. There is Sunday. And maybe by next week, we may not even have a football association. Now, one of the conditions under which an emergency congress can be convened is if 25 clubs agree to call an emergency congress. 8 of them have to be Premier League clubs. If 25 clubs can sign and say we are calling for an emergency congress, that would happen. At that congress, the clubs themselves could have kicked out Nyantakyi and anybody else that had questions to answer. They haven't done that. Or is it more than half of the executive committee can call for an emergency congress according to the GFA statutes? Only a handful of them. There are 22 of them. How many of them were caught in the video? Less than 10. So you have more than half of the executive committee that can come together and say, we have a big situation, let's convene an emergency congress. They didn't do that. Instead, they went throwing their weight behind Nyantakyi. And that's how we've landed where we are now. 3, 7 out of the 10 RFA chairmen, if they all agree, can call for an emergency congress. 7. 2 of them were caught in the tape. Edidoku and Abu.
Yep.
Lawa.
And Lawa. Yeah.
So it's basically left with 7 of them.
But you see, the thing is, a lot of people have said that the biggest problem of Ghana football actually is the RFA chair.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yes.
They are the ones they are the ones, according to the gospel, that have sold their liver, their lungs, their kidneys. They've sold everything. They sold their integrity. They've sold everything, including perhaps the integrity of their future.
Greater Accra, Division 2. Edidoku is playing upper and lower. Division 2, who are upper and lower.
Team, yes. You see? And that's why, and you see, even if you call Congress, and this is why I agree with Neil and Van der Poel that just removing Nyantakyi or a handful of people is not the solution. Because listen to this. The RFA at Congress have 3 votes each per region. Out of the 123. It's not just the chairman that vote.
That's immense.
They have 3 delegates. So the RFA alone has 30 delegates that will go and vote.
That's an entire power block.
Yes.
Out of
123, RFAs alone are 33 per region. And if all of these people have sworn their loyalty to Kwesi Nyantakyi, then you know that if we hold elections tomorrow,
you win.
Even if he doesn't stand, whoever he puts forward will win. And Nyantakyi will basically be ruling Ghana football
without being in the position.
That is why removing Nyantakyi alone will not be the solution to fixing Ghana football. Everybody else that has ever been loyal to him has always known the sort of person he is. The choice was yours to be like him or be different. Kwekewia chose to be different. The rest of them, those who were caught on tape, Abu, Edidoku, Lawal, chose to be like Nyantachi. Those of them who were not investigated, what are you like? Kotoro, what are you like? MNL Do, what are you like?
Yanka.
Kojo Yanka.
What
Kojo
are you?
Yanka.
Kojo Yanka.
He has been very buoyant.
What are you? He has been very buoyant.
Let me tell you something. Look, Kojo Yanka, the day he dropped his final bomb, do you know where he dropped it from?
Tell me.
The airport. He was dropping the bomb while he's getting on the plane. He's in America. He should come. He should come. This is where we want to test his loyalty.
I attempted to interview him
come.
just about a few weeks before this happened. He said, you want to talk to me about our NAS matter? There's nothing to say.
Kojo Yanka has run Western Region football from America for the past how many years?
When you talk, he will tell you, but
he spends more time in America than in Ghana, but he's an FA chairman. I mean,
how does you see? And this is the problem. Nana Bey Eison, for example, is an ex-co member, an executive committee member of the Ghana Football Association, has served a FIFA ban for sexual harassment. He's still a member of the unbelievable.
And there are rumors I've heard
Isaac Addo
that they are planning or even elevating. I don't know how
Isaac Addo is generous.
But you see, every rumor generates somewhere. For somebody to think that such a character who went to Papua New Guinea and went to misbehave,
Isaac Addo, General Secretary
of the GFA, the one who signed the statement confirming Nyantachi's resignation.
ESCO member Ose Palmer sat in this studio, said we didn't pay and classify pay. That statement alone.
Yes.
That statement alone.
And here we are. I cannot believe that up till now, none of those powers have acted. Not the RFAs, not the EXCO, not the clubs, and especially the clubs. Given everything that has happened, and Godfred analyzed everything, the man is cheating you.
It's almost as if they're under a spell.
Hold on. That's what it looks like. At this point, you should be seething with anger.
No, you see, in Ghana, we have something to say. We say, he understands. Dog understands, so he can translate that. What mean? They don't have teeth.
Toothless.
Look, how toothless can you be? When
the power
you can see that. No, you see, when it is so obvious that this person
is going down,
had an opportunity to make a case for me.
Yeah.
Went there and decided that he will take more money.
Girlfriend, I want you to break down the mathematics again. But Nantity was going to walk away with 4.5, and how much were the clubs?
Each club would get $700,000.
Yes, the calculations. Please, there's this point I want to make from a very.
The clubs they should think about. I'm saying no. 4.5. Look at the difference.
Just one man.
For one man.
Then
you
and that
medical
club would also get the 700,000. It's not like you give his club out of the 400,
which he could possibly pocket.
And out of the 700, you probably have taken some.
And you see, the other thing is that, this is what disappoints me the most. And this is where the Ghana Bar Association should feel disappointed that this man is a member. Because if you look at the FIFA Code of Ethics and the GFA Code of Ethics, there's an article there on taking commission. And it clearly bars you. Unless you've been given express permission to negotiate for commission on behalf of the association, and you are bad. Nyantachi is a lawyer. He knows he's negotiating.
Maybe he's president. He gave himself permission.
And I mean, on that premise, Godfrey, like you mentioned, agencies have always been involved in the brokering of deals for the GFA. So like
all of them,
from the Mid-Sea deal to the Xylophone deal to the Star Times deal, we need the agents of those deals. We need the individuals who brokered those particular deals on behalf of the FA.
All I'm saying is, as the police did there, I'm driving there. You should just open Isaac Addo's gate for me. I just want only Isaac Addo's gate. I want 5 minutes behind his desk. We will find out who did all those things. They should just give me 5 minutes inside Ikado's office.
Interesting stuff coming through there. Daniel, give us something on GFA without Nyantachi and what it means, and is it enough to cut off the head of the monster?
Friend has said it.
Remove everybody.
Yeah, because all the people there, in fact 75% of the people there were put there by him. All the RFA chairmen were put there by him. Majority of the ESCO members are with him. So if he's not there, he will simply, as you said, be running the FA from the back door. And it will be simple for him. He may even be getting more money. Because now it's not his face. It's somebody else's face. So no more money, and it will be very difficult to trace. I'm just saying. But we've all seen the video. And all of them have to go. I think some people were just lucky that Anas didn't go to them. It's that simple. Some people were just lucky.
Like who?
Maybe they went to church 4 times.
No, some people also did show and prove that if an hour were to come to them over and
they
over
were
again,
genuine.
They were genuine. You would
say no.
You cannot get.
And I think
without
I think I agree with Coach. We need to hammer on the point of lawyer.
Yeah.
You see, it's for somebody who is that close to
the man.
Nyantechi.
Yeah.
He couldn't have been more different.
Exactly.
Charlie.
When they say birds of a feather flock together.
When
I saw that, I disagree.
And
that's why I
and
say,
you see, and the ease with which he just took the stone face, he just told the people that no,
I don't do that.
He said, I don't do it. If players want to get into the team, it is their skill and ability that will get them there.
Simple.
Look, that's very straightforward. And for me, that was my most interesting.
And I must also take the fans and say that it is worth noting that Lawyer is an old boy of Infantsman Football School. So yes, did I say football school? Charlie, Charlie, Infantsman old boy. He's a MOBA. Nilante Van der Poel said it was Drain Shekan on his part. So some interesting breaking news coming through. Charlie, Memphis Depay. Yeah, he is in Ghana as we speak, doing some charity work. He's donated to the Cape Coast School of the Blind. Interesting stuff out there. And I hear Lawyer again was a classmate of my CEO, Mr. Samuel Atamensa. Charlie, amazing stuff.
Papa is proud.
Now, I'm claiming the mobile part. I was not part of the generation. How much more the people who start in the class with him?
And you know, I'm actually close to him, and I think that what I saw didn't surprise me.
No, he's a good man.
Like, yeah, he's a very good man.
He's a
he's the sort of man. Mpemi wants him.
Nikasa Noso.
No. I remember when I had just come here when the under 17 went and came back. Yes, we spoke a lot, and he told me how much he was hurting. That a lot of these boys came back. They missed their WASI exams to go to the World Cup, to go to the African campaign, and then go to the World Cup. How much he's been trying to get them to resit for the WASI, but the boys were all saying no. They wanted to go professional, and his heart broke.
Yeah,
it tells you this is a man that actually cares about the future of these boys.
He knows they are kids
because he knows. Yes,
there's life after football.
Exactly, and that was when I wrote an article saying that giving them cash rewards
would not.
Yes, so he told me if only you knew the history of these boys and what they had to sacrifice. That he thought that the only way, the fact that they are refusing to go back to school, the only way they could feel that this was all worth it was to go home with something.
Exactly.
That's what he told me. Exactly. And he said he was pursuing them to go back to school, talking to the headmaster, even for those that agreed to go back. Even talking to the headmasters to allow them to resit the exam was a big problem. And he asked the GFA to intervene. We had a very lengthy conversation about this. But it didn't happen because, as we know, all of those boys did not go back. Those who didn't write the exam,
it is hard.
Did not go back.
It is hard to thrive as a good man at the FA. Your ideas will get stuck in quicksand. Let me read a few messages and then I will delve into the realm of the bell. I'll be telling you a lot more about that. Kwesi Nyantechi's FIFA ban. Now that ban, let me just tell you what it means before we move forward. So one, he cannot act, of course, as FA president because now he's resigned. He cannot act as a FIFA Executive Council member. He cannot vote on behalf of Ghana at any FIFA Congress, including next week's election of the 2026 World Cup host. Now, he cannot act as a CAF Vice President again. He ceases to be WAFU Zone B President. He cannot appoint a new GFA Vice President. And he cannot run One All Stars as an Executive Chairman. That is exact.
Footballing activity.
Charlie, the
Basically,
the only football Nyantechi will be involved in is keep fit football. But
Ben, I asked a question on Twitter. What else can't Nyantechi do as a result of the FIFA ban? The responses are crazy. Somebody said
he shouldn't even turn on his TV. Somebody said if kids are playing FIFA, he shouldn't go and watch.
Somebody said he can't even stick bet.
Very serious. We'll play you a satire piece put together on Kwesi Nyantechi, and then Mr. Bell here will talk to us.
2004.
And man musu afibem
2008.
Into 2004 no discuss
100,000.
2008 so
400,000.
My goodness, question say GFS ke mu ntimi nyai.
That is the worry now.
Question na yentimi nya bibi fa ho ma ni nyai.
Nothing can stop it.
Kura kwa.
There is nothing.
Dabi ye ko hinjelo bi na mi susu say ho de kwa sikadie ni bejai.
No man or woman born of a woman can stop it.
Sika ko jodi agromu wunya bi amane wanya bi nso amane sese pa pese me ye odai.
You have to move on.
I would never move on obra sikadie di so ntwai.
If you don't move on, you will be moved away.
Say penifo ka say tafata kwansan ampa GF penifo no ne hwan e diska wo.
All of us.
Jimmy Sasenchi ampanisi susu abo ne kon ansa ne abo na homa. Do you insist to say the president is still in your pocket?
No.
We all know you are a member of the FIFA Executive Committee, right?
I'm a member of the CAF Executive Committee and not FIFA Executive Committee.
Oh, okay. And it's
very obvious. Africans have no minds of their own.
Fire pen you. Oh, so go
Africans are intelligent people. We are not as foolish as some of them think we are.
Nice one.
We are animals and we don't have any brains to think for ourselves.
Then I'll use the pronoun we,
including me.
Question a GFS can a week when you say
$500,000 to $600,000.
2004. And a man musu afibem
2008.
Into 2004 no discuss
100,000.
2008 so
400,000.
My goodness. Question a surgery physical ntimi nyai.
That is the worry now.
Question a yentimi nya bibi fa ho ma ni nyai.
Nothing can stop it.
Kura.
There is nothing.
Dabi ye ko hinjelo bi na mi susu say ho de kwa sikadie ni bejai.
No man or woman born of a woman can stop it.
Sika ko jodi agromu wunya bi amane wanya bi nso amane sese pa pese me ye odai.
You have to move on.
I would never move on obra sikadie di so ntwai.
If you don't move on, you will be moved away.
Say penifo ka say tafata kwansan ampa GF penifo no ne hwan e diska wo.
All of us.
Jimmy Sasenchi ampanisi susu abo ne kon ansa ne abo na homa. Do you insist to say the president is still in your pocket?
No.
We all know you are a member of the FIFA Executive Committee, right?
I'm a member of the CAF Executive Committee and not FIFA Executive Committee.
Oh, okay. And it's
very obvious. Africans have no minds of their own.
Fire pen you. Oh, so go nyabutre question ti afa ye power say yeso no hu Africa for say.
Africans are intelligent people. We are not as foolish as some of them think we are.
Nice one. Question omo mo je bribe ankasa hu omo say.
We are animals and we don't have any brains to think for ourselves.
Then I'll use the pronoun we,
including me.
Question a GFS can a week when you kura na say
$500,000 to $600,000.
One place, May for sale, one ton cheap. Don't come you, don't come me. We dey loan this player $1,000. Don't come you, don't come me. For the striker we can consider. Don't come you, don't come me. No they see you use. Tina Boga, don't come you.
So ghosts are Sansa Taurus. Now one can shake goes a prince of ghosts. Now on one yet drinks a Teves. And then you coach punk a meton. A don that was so.
Don't come you, don't come me.
Let's go. It's don't come me time.
Don't come you, don't come me.
It's don't come me time.
Don't come you, don't come me.
Catch that.
Tina Boga, don't come you, don't come me.
Catch that. It's don't come me time.
Medasi.
Charlie, only on Sports Panorama. I promise to end the show with that particular satire piece. Amazing stuff. Hey! No. Charlie, it's don't call me time. Manchester United people. Fred has landed. Nathan Kwao, let me start with you.
Which Fred?
Brazilians have this weird...
Fred Jabano.
Fred Amugi.
Oh, Fred Amugi.
Fred Javalo. Fred Javalo. My brother Fred Javalo.
Nathan, the Brazilian midfielder from Shakhtar has landed, supposedly for a fee expected to be in the region of around 50 million. Good signing or bad signing?
Assuming Man United did not have Paul Pogba, actually this is a brilliant signing. it is still a brilliant signing, but I think it's a signing that doesn't do anything to help Mourinho's own reputation as a manager. Right? So you got Paul Pogba, okay, Ander Herrera was still there. You've added Nemanja Matic. Now you've added Fred. So there's one of
and
two
there's
things.
supposedly Milinkovic Savic on the radar.
Listen, one of two things happening. One, either Pogsy, as I choose to call him, is not actually doing the work, or the manager doesn't understand what is going on in his own central midfield. I cannot look beyond this reason. Because really, why are United? I'm not saying Fred is a bad player. Fred is a very good player. But why are United bring him? Or is Ander Herrera who suffer? Probably. Or I'm struggling to understand the tactical reason for this. Is it that Mourinho wants to move Pogba forward and play him as an out-and-out number 10? I don't get this.
Free Pogba is what we've been saying
spent
since.
hundreds of millions of pounds trying to free. Why is he El Chapo? El Chapo broke out of jail at a point. I look on the how do I even grade this? It's a good signing, but it's an overkill. It's not.
It's one of those signings where you really don't know what to make of it.
Unless, like I'm saying, unless the manager is subtly telling Pogsy that, Mr. Frenchman, you will be spending more time on the bench, and this Brazilian guy will play. Or Herrera is being told permanently that you sit on that bench. I play him and Matic. Pogsy plays wherever it is he wants to play. Because I don't understand this signing, to be brutally honest. But he's a good player, so any good player United will add, fine. But there should be a reason for the signing.
What does he add to your team in terms of being a good player?
I mean, I think that he's a... How do I even say it? Tim Vickery called him a left-footed Fernandinho. To be honest, United's midfield has lacked some rhythm and some dynamism. Somebody to keep the tempo going. Somebody to keep the intensity up, and somebody to give some life to that midfield. That's what I'm saying. That if Fred is the guy, what happens to Pogba then? Does he get to play further away or further up the pitch, closer to Lukaku, where he's a KZI second striker? I think Mourinho himself needs to think through the plan and understand what he's doing. Because if you say you are chasing Manchester City, they have their setup already there. And when the market opens, they will go crazy and add. Liverpool are already adding. So if you don't have a reason for buying, don't buy. But if you are buying, to make sure you know what you're doing. That's my long and short on that.
Coach Namely.
Absolutely fantastic buy.
Hey.
He will add brilliance to this Manchester United setup.
Have we not heard this before?
No, but if you've heard it before, it doesn't mean you shouldn't hear it again, isn't it? Look, the department is without Michael Carrick, is without Marion Fellaini. So surely there will be additions in that department. That is point number one. Point number two. If you look at the way Paul has played over the past 2 seasons, a clear-cut message must be sent to him that the position is not home and dry. He's our best player. I accept that. Paul Pogba.
He's our most expensive player.
And he's our best player when he's
okay. Hold on there 1 second. Hold on. We did establish rules on the show.
Accepted.
Not to be
Paul
used.
Pogba is the best player in Manchester United as we speak.
I disagree.
Because the statistics have shown that whenever he's on the pitch and he's on his game, United win games easily. It is there for everybody to see. But there are times where he's been so inconsistent. And whenever he shows up, those inconsistent form of his, the team begin to suffer. So there's a certain Fred who comes in there, technically very good, a very good passer of the ball, a very good dribbler, someone who protects the ball very well, somebody who can actually create and score goals, someone who can actually put in that killer defense splitting passes for the attackers to pounce on and score. So every good team will want depth in every department. So Pogba gets injured. What happens to that department? The department suffers. With Fred, the two of them can what? Mix it up. Don't forget, he's left-footed. Matic is left. Pogba is right-footed. So if we're to go, if Man United is to play a 4-3-3, I mean, they comprehend each other very, very well. To me, I have said it. If you keep doubting a coach of the caliber of Mourinho, then personally, look, I don't think any coach out there can be trusted. He knows what he's about. He knows what he wants. And I'm very certain that he's gotten a man that would obviously add something. We see the likes of Juan Mata not knowing what they are about all over the place. In Fred, at least somebody will get on the ball and take this team forward and accelerate, get the team to move a bit faster, get the team to protect the ball a bit. Someone who sees the hope. Because if you look at this Man United team, from midfield, it is only when Paul Pogba sees the gap. He's the only player who fills the gap with that form of intensity. In Fred, there will be another dimension to the way the team is going to play. So for me, if you ask me, I will not wait and see. I think he will add certain qualities that this team don't have. And I don't know, I expect to see a minimum of 10, 12 goals and some very decent assists.
You are my man. You always you know how I like it. When you finish the argument or making the point, you break it down with your expectations.
Yes.
So expectations for Fred will be 10
goals
and 10 assists.
The reason why,
minimum of 10 assists.
The reason why I
minimum
never
10
ever
assists.
ever give such a target to a Manchester United midfielder is that all of United's midfielders have one big problem. That problem is that they don't like shooting at goal.
Fred shoots.
I beg you. I don't know whether it is wired in their contract that if you shoot at the goalkeeper, you'll be docked £50,000. I really don't get it. Meanwhile, I can highlight 3 occasions where when United decided to take pot shots at goalkeepers, it worked. The best one, Nemanja Matic at Crystal Palace. On a night where he spent the entire game moving the ball left to right, right to left, left to right. The only time he said, let me take one at goal, he won United 3 points. So as to how United midfielders never want to take shots at goal, it really beats my imagination. So I, Nathaniel Bodai, as I sit here, will never give any Man United midfielder any target. He won't even meet it. He will not meet 10 goals. How is he going to score 10 goals?
Fred,
10 tap-ins.
With
10 tap-ins.
Let's leave the Fred. Let's leave the Fred discussion.
With Champions League.
Friends, let me come to you. Still on the subject of Manchester United, and they are still bent on buying the Serbian guy.
Yeah.
Milinkovic Savic.
Fantastic.
Milinkovic Savic.
Tell listeners out there,
Another one that doesn't make sense.
who is Milinkovic Savic? Who is he, and why is United so interested?
Fantastic midfielder, very tall Serbian. He's 6'3", I think, almost like Paul Pogba. In so many ways, he's one of the most talented midfielders in world football at this point in
Look
time.
at all this.
But like I said in my introduction, he really looks like another Paul Pogba. And that's why, in my opinion, I don't think that Manchester United need a player of Paul Pogba's stature again. Not because such players are not good for them, but because they already have one. I've seen Milinkovic a lot this season, and I think that so much of his play reminds me of Paul Pogba. He's not the quickest, but he's got great skill to go with.
Good dribbler.
Good dribbler. He's going to come with a lot of money. He does also like the showboating.
Does he? I was about to ask if he also gets into his own little world.
He does.
On the pitch.
Oh yes, he does. That's why I said he likes the little showboating. So, fantastic player. He's going to cost a lot of money as well. If you've heard the figures
And might
around,
probably
there.
have to adjust to the EPL.
Yes, and if you bring him and you're going to put him and Pogba either side of Nemanja Matic, you've got 2, 3 of the lankiest, 3 of the slowest midfielders you can find.
3 of the clumsiest.
And 3 of the clumsiest midfielders you can find together. Oh, have you watched it?
I've watched it.
Not that he's that slow. Compared to Fred,
slowest.
He's not quick.
he's not quick.
He's not quick.
No,
He's slow.
He's slow. Of course, he's slow. Is Pogba quick?
I won't say SMS.
You're not talking about Pogba.
You see, when you say slow,
I won't say SMS.
no more. When you say slow,
one voice.
you're comparing his pace to the pace of other midfielders you can find in the Premier League. You compare him to somebody like Naby Keita. He's nowhere close. You compare him to
Everything is in comparison to something.
exactly.
Of course.
If you compare him to Kante, he's nowhere close.
How many Kantes do you have out there?
We have Naby Keita.
How many Naby Keita do you have out there?
You have Fabinho.
How many Milankovic do you have out there?
Yeah, Pogba.
Can the man finish his point?
So I'm saying that he's a brilliant player. He's going to cost Manchester United a lot of money. But I really don't think that his buying will make a lot of sense. They're going to sacrifice more money for him, and they're going to struggle
They're
to fit it.
they're supposed to be like engaging in a clear-out of some sort.
Yes.
Which will come.
Which will come anyway. But I'm saying that in trying to replace certain players, you don't bring too many players of the same quality, similar quality. If you have too many, you remember, was it Afrani's team or whose team was it? Left-footed players.
Yeah. AFCON 88. AFCON 88. Ghana took another left-footed team to Cote d'Ivoire.
Daniel, quick word on SMS. You people have given him an acronym already. Sergei Milinkovic-Savic. Charlie. SMS. And then tell me a little bit about the 60 million euro Nabil Fekir coming in from Olympic Lyon. He's come through from their system. He's an academy product. He's finally commanding the big bucks. I only used to see Nabil Fekir in Football Manager. I didn't think he would become this big.
No, you see, I want Fekir first.
Nice one. It's your take.
You see, as for SMS, come on, it doesn't make sense. If you're going to have SMS, Fred, Matic, and Pogba, how many midfielders are you going to play? It's useless. Anyway, moving on. Fekir. I think when I saw the links, I was scared. Then I saw the deal becoming more and more likely.
Liverpool move really quickly these days.
Mr. Klopp is not joking. He's not joking.
He wants to have his team before pre-season.
It's Liverpool. They should organize a few sessions. You understand? To teach teams like Man United how you pursue players.
Exactly. What has Klopp won in his coaching career?
What has he won?
Move on. Don't ever compare him to Jose.
Daniel, make your point.
I don't get this.
Fekir is exactly what Liverpool needs. And that's one thing that honestly, if you ask me to mention what I love about Mr. Klopp, is his ability to identify a problem. When he's going out to buy players, he identifies the problem and he addresses it. He doesn't go dilly-dallying and dancing about and buying players he doesn't need. He saw he had a problem at centre-back, took money, bought Van Dijk. He's losing a player like Emre Can.
The results. He was
and we saw exactly. He lost Coutinho. He's lost Emre Can. He's gone and he's got Fabinho. He's got Naby Keita, and now he's going for Fekir. Fekir is that thing that Liverpool were missing after Coutinho left, and I can bet you Liverpool would have had a higher or a greater chance of winning that Champions League final if they had Coutinho in there.
Or Fekir, they may not have reached there if they had Coutinho. That's another argument.
Fekir he's tricky, he's quick, and he's
his ability to score.
I don't know the adjective to give him when it comes to set pieces. He's that dangerous, and you see, he's such a smart player. He thinks so quickly, and he's that kind of player that can create something out of nothing, and that's what you need in the Premier League.
They call the ability to do the unexpected.
If you saw his free kick against PSG, where everybody expected him to cross the ball, and then he spotted a keeper off the line and took the bold decision because he trusted his technique and went for goal. That goal for me was one of the goals of last season in the whole Europe. The speed of thought to just do that at that point in time, and the magnitude of the game against PSG. Fantastic player on the ball. He's brilliant. And
I'll tell you which free kick comes close. Aurelio's free kick
against Chelsea. Very simple. If you remember Aurelio's free kick,
it was
very similar.
To score a free kick like that, you need to hit the ball with accuracy and pace.
Exactly, and you have to have the confidence in your ability to be able to do that. And I think
there's a slight bit of seconds between when the goalkeeper backtracks and when the ball gets there.
And Fekir fits this Liverpool team perfectly. He makes them more dangerous, and even if you cannot pinpoint whether he will start or not, their bench becomes even more dangerous, because now you are looking at somebody like Oxlade-Chamberlain on the bench. You are looking like somebody like Milner, who has qualities to come off the bench.
Henderson should be the first on the bench.
Their captain, now is on the bench, so it makes this attack even more juicy. Yep. And remember, Fekir can even make shift in the front three if it's necessary.
In place of Salah.
In place of Salah, exactly, if it's necessary. So this team, this Liverpool team that Mr. Klopp is building up, as I've said, if Manchester City don't win the league next season, it is Liverpool.
And Ben, just something quick. Listen to these numbers. Ben, listen to these numbers. Liverpool sold Coutinho for 142 million. Mm-hmm. And in the market where everybody says the market has spoiled, they have bought 3 quality midfielders
within that money.
Hold on. For just 8 million more. Listen, they bought Nabil Fekir, or they're buying him for 52.8 million.
Yep.
Keita was bought for 52 million. Fabinho was bought for 43 million. They've replaced their entire midfield for 148.5 million. And they sold one player, Coutinho, for 142 million. I think John W. Henry deserves a statue.
Well, he does deserve a statue. Nabil Fekir, 18 goals in 30 appearances. And don't call me, it is.
One place, May for sale, one ton cheap. Don't come yo, don't come me. We dey loan this player $1,000. Don't come yo, don't come me. For this strike.
Yes. So that will be all. It's been fantastic today. Thank you guys for the messages from Facebook. Thank you guys from Twitter. And also all of you who managed to send our text messages from home. Daniel, you have 5 seconds to say whatever you want to say. 5 seconds.
Yeah, the gods are working. Lanzini is injured. We are going to the World Cup.
You just had to do that, man. Teacher Kojo, who all... No. Daniel Cranting was here. Fentio Tahiru was here. Nathan Kwa was here. Coach Christopher Nimley was here. Godfred Akotobwa for the Black Chinese was also here. Kwesi Nyantechi was here some time ago, but now the era has come to an end. Benjamin Nketia here, signing out.
2004.